Grace and peace and grand rising peeps. I hope everybody's feeling blessed on this beautiful rainy day. I love it. But let's get right into this channeled message, shall we? So on this rise, I was channeling the energy on aiding versus enabling. Many of us don't know the difference between the two. We feel that if someone reaches out for help, that it is our job to assist them in the way that they ask for assistance. What I was channeling into this was how God truly feels about this task and this deed. Because we fall into positions where we become serious enablers when the person at hand who's requesting assistance, requesting help, is actually looking for a way out of their own mess. This is valuable lessons that many of us need to learn, and we don't, because we lean so heavily on someone else to take away our pain, to distract us a bit. You don't actually learn it, so you walk right back into those same situations, wondering why the revolving door never stops revolving. Now, enabling has its own negative connotation added to it. Anytime you hear someone talking about being an enabler, it's always to someone's negative attribute, whether it's someone you know who has a drug issue or someone who has some sort of, I want to call it a handicap in the way that they behave, and you okay it, whether it be a son who has abusive behaviors and instead you blame it on the feminine that you triggered him to be that way. Whatever it is, the negative connotation still sticks. And until we fully understand that it is not negative to take away from assisting those who aren't supposed to have it, growth really starts to happen. So personally, I feel like I was groomed to be an enabler to those around me, that my job was to make sure that I made everyone else's world a bit easier. Now, when I say groomed, it wasn't as if, sat down, taught a lesson, no, this is what you're supposed to do. But sometimes when you don't have a conversation as to what someone's role is and they're expected to behave a certain way, or they only receive a benefit when they are that way, they learn that it's the way to be in order to either get notoriety, respect, sometimes even love. And so you naturally become trained to do that, or to seek opportunities where you can be there for people who are asking for help but don't really want it. Now, in moments where I was enabling versus helping, I seen the negative backlash fairly quickly. One time I do remember helping someone who I feel was put in a situation they shouldn't have been in. They could have been harmed. I was worried about their safety, and I spoke up on it. And I wasn't one who really did that. And not too long after I spoke up on it, that person and the person who I made sure to tell that they could have done things different, both turned on me. And I was made to feel as if I didn't have the right to stand up for them if they didn't need it. And yet they did. There's also been times where I've maybe given advice to someone as to what they could do that's in their best interest for them to find freedom. And I even had them betray by telling the person that they need freedom from, that I'm telling them that they need freedom. If you know, you know. Either way, I've had to learn that this was the reason why this was happening, because my help wasn't for everyone. And in some cases, the help someone is asking you for isn't the help that they actually need. Now, the best example I can give you when it comes to aiding and enabling would be meeting someone who's down on their luck, standing in front of a supermarket saying they're trying to get enough change to go buy something to eat. If I offer to buy the meal and give it to you, that should be sustainable, right? Unless what you're asking for isn't necessarily what you want. So, where I personally would be the one to go buy the whole meal worth $15 instead of giving you $1 toward enabling a habit, you tend to learn very quickly where the seriousness is when it comes to correcting your course. Now, the Lord calls for us to service mankind in a kind and gentle way. Meaning, if you see a woman who's struggling to get her groceries on the bus or in her car, and you aid her by helping her do so. That is very different. Now, we have to learn the difference between the two and play our roles accordingly. There are valuable lessons that come in struggle. Some of us out here had to struggle alone, and that's the only reason they were able to become the person that they became. Now, you could even refer to Jesus. Jesus carried that cross on his own. He had those who were willing to maybe step in and take some of that. He never wanted them to take the weight of what he needed to carry because it was his to carry. But there were many who came through, attempting to give him water, attempting to stand him up when it was just so heavy. There were some that were there, and they were able to aid instead of enabling. They didn't hinder the walk. They were there to be a part of his glory. Now, when it comes to those lessons, we have to accept the fact that a lot of people have hardships because of their own decisions, mine included. If I was ever in a hard place, a lot of times I walked myself right into it. Whatever prison it was that I put myself in, it was for me to make the decision to pull myself out the same way I walked in. And it wasn't for somebody to come through to save me. That was also a thing that I had to defeat, is recognizing that there's nobody going to save me. Jesus will come through and make it lighter, but I got to save me. I got to be the one to say, you know what, I close this door. I close this chapter. I see things for the truth that they are, and I no longer want it again, because sometimes it's walking through that fire that allows you to actually close the door to it fully. When somebody comes in and they save you from it, you don't learn the lesson, so you tend to fall right back into those same situations. All right, thank you, Holy Spirit. So I just heard, sometimes you have to go through the consequence before you are ready to accept the guidance. Oof. That's it. Someone can tell you how to get out of a situation. They can tell you with love. They can tell you based on how you need to value yourself. But if you don't see that, it's meaningless. We see this in relationships where somebody tells you that person is not for you. You need to leave them. You need to be away from them. The more you tell them that they need to stop, the more they're willing to stay. But when they're ready to walk out, they're not coming back. And sometimes it takes the weight of the decision, the weight of the consequence, for them to be able to shut that door and say, I think I'm okay. I think I'm done with this. This is why it is our job to allow people to go through their own consequences. It is no one's job to carry your weight. It's no one's job to make your life easier while they make their life more complicated. And the sooner we embrace this as a natural way of humans to develop, the better. Because it gives that grace to watch somebody become who they need to be. And if you truly love them, you'll be waiting on the other side with your arms open to receive them for making it through. I don't know who this one was for, but definitely make sure you're reflecting on your role. I'm feeling somebody is definitely carrying burdens that aren't theirs. They're keeping relationships afloat that are not for them. Relationships where other people aren't putting anything in, but it's you putting it all together. And it could be for the notoriety of the situation. It could be to keep others from judging you. Forget them judging you. Judge yourself. Judge yourself. How do you feel carrying all that? How do you feel that person be entitled as more than they are when they provide nothing to you? We need to start looking at these things and recognize that that's part of what's going on. Sometimes you're carrying weights and you're carrying somebody else's too. They're putting them right in your pocket. But I'm going to leave this one right here. Feel free to schedule if you need a free consultation. Link in my bio. Love and light, y'all. And peace.